Hello everyone, this is Ninja Girl, Sakura1 here, back with another Yashahime Princess Half Demon review. This past weekend, we got Season 2, Episode 22, Grim Butterfly of Despair. And, honestly, this episode is a little bit all over the place, to be honest with you. Should expect no less, because the last episode was kind of all over the place and sort of jumped the shark a little bit in some areas, in my personal opinion anyway. But I don't know, I guess this episode was still alright for what it was, but yeah. Anyway, let's go over everything that would happen. So, obviously, everyone is still trying to catch up to the Grim Butterfly. They're trying to make sure it doesn't hurt anyone, because it's obviously absorbing all the demons that it goes by, and kind of destroying them in a sense, it seems like. And obviously, Rion's still a problem. Osamu Kuden kind of has her in his clutches in a sense. So, yeah. Things are not good. But Inuyasha, Kagome, Shippo, they're there trying to get to it before it's too late. Then finally, the girls managed to catch up, and it was nice just hearing Moroha call for her dad. It's adorable. So yeah, it's always cute to have family moments like that. But yeah, they're all trying to get to him, and Inuyasha almost goes to use the Maid-out to stop the Grim Butterfly before it can do any more harm. Especially after it almost takes out Takachiyo's village, as it gets close to it, but Kagome makes it turn around with her arrow. Thankfully. But yeah, Inuyasha almost uses the Maid-out, which would get rid of it for good. But Moroha stops him, as do the twins, saying, "Dad, no! Don't! Rion's in there, we promised we would help her." Because Riku had shown up and explained what was going on. So yeah. And he is also with the girls as well. So yeah. And they just all explain, they promised they would help Rion, they want to save her. So Inuyasha says, okay, we won't use the Maid-out, but we really need to stop this thing. Quickly. And then Riku chimes in saying that what he believes is that Rion wants to be saved by Lady Towa and the others. So when they get close, he speaks, hoping to reach Rion and say, he says, "I brought Lady Towa and the others, let us in, let me in." And she actually does. Rion actually lets them in. But right before Inuyasha and Kagome can follow their daughter and their nieces, they are locked outside. So yeah. So much for that idea. So, they're forced to stay outside, but Inuyasha gets a plan. While they're in there dealing with that, and of course, he believes in his daughter, but they do need to stop the Grim Butterfly from the outside before it does any more damage. It's already very, very bad. So, he tells Kagome that he has a plan that involves her and Moroku. So, he sends Takachiyo to go get Moroku so that they can combine their spiritual powers. And you see later on, his plan was for them to create a barrier to hold the Grim Butterfly in place, which is a good idea on Inuyasha's part. And just, you know, seeing Inuyasha and Kagome so in sync, working together is always a pleasure. And it was great to see Sango and Moroku meet up with Inuyasha and Kagome again. Of course, along with Shippo. It was so awesome. However, it was way too brief. Way too brief. It should have been a very emotional moment. Because remember, Sango and Moroku have not seen Inuyasha and Kagome for 14 years. And basically they gloss over it. With Sango going to Kagome saying she's glad that she's alive. That they're both alive and she's glad to see them. That's still nice, but it should have been a far more emotional moment. By the way, before they arrived, we got to see Sango kicking more butt again with Moroku, which is great. So yeah, and the kids. And she also compliments Hisui because he feels kind of inferior compared to how awesome his mother is as a demon slayer, but she just tells him that she's very proud of him and how far his skills have come. So that was very sweet. Sango's an awesome mom. As is Kagome, of course. So, yeah. always cool. But I do really wish I hadn't glanced over that little moment of our old crew finally being back together. They just really gloss over it. Kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Can't change it now. But, yeah. So, they implement Inuyasha's plan right after that, with him and Shippo heading towards the Grim Butterfly. Shippo's, of course, scared to death, but Inuyasha urges him on, and it does work. The Grim Butterfly starts to follow Shippo, and lures it into all these symbols that they put on the ground. Obviously, the other Demon Slayers are still backing them up, and everything else. So yeah. But these symbols, once the Grim Butterfly passes over them all, it will be trapped inside a barrier. And obviously, Moroku and Kagome are at the final one. And right before it's too late, they do manage to get the barrier up, which was very cool. And Moroku again uses the when you meet the Arat, slay the Arat, meet the parents, slay your parents, or something like that. Or when you meet your parents, slay your parents, something like the chant we heard Setsuna say at the very beginning. I don't remember the words exactly, but you get the idea. Yeah, and together, yeah, their spiritual power does hold the Grim Butterfly in place. But Inuyasha comes down and says that it might not work for too long, and all they can do now is have faith in Moroha and his nieces to do the rest. So yeah, like I said, he does have faith in his daughter. He should. I mean, he's done well to make it this far alone without him and Kagome. Heart-wrenching as that is that she even had to, but she's a tough girl and he knows it and he's proud of her. And I just love that. Fatherly pride, you know? Their family dynamic, despite being apart for so long, it's just always great. Oh, and I forgot to mention a cute moment with him praising Kagome too, when she was... Yeah, it was when she was fending off the Grim Butterfly from Takachiyo's home. She used 3 sacred arrows to get it to turn back. So, I guess Kagome can do that. I don't remember ever seeing her do that in the original series. But yeah, makes sense that she could, I suppose. So yeah, that was just very, very cool. And he was just really, really happy and proud of her. So that was cute. But yeah, inside the Grim Butterfly though, obviously the girls have to deal with everything going on. They gotta try and track down Rion. Osamu Kinen doesn't want them to and is standing in their way. But Towa decides to kind of fend him off, while the girls, while Moroha and Setsuna go ahead of her to try and get to Rion in her chamber. So, yeah. And when they do, they find tons of threads of fate inside, which is strange. But thankfully, you know, Setsuna can sense them, and she begins to track the correct thread, trying to free Rion from the Grim Butterfly that way. Because talking to her certainly wasn't going to work. They tried that, so yeah. They're going in, trying to cut the threads of fate, the Setsuna at the start. But then, Moroha finds she can do it with her sacred arrows too. And each time they do, they hear some of Rion's thoughts. They hear all her thoughts, and we learn that Rion just felt kind of alone, that her father never truly cared about her. So, yeah, and that all he really cared about was power and all that kind of thing. And she kept telling them to basically butt out of her business, but obviously they're not going to do that. Rion is their friend. So, yeah, and they keep going and going. But Rion kind of isn't budging. She's still in that, like, trance state inside the Grim Butterfly. It's weird. And Towa is still dealing with Osamu Kinen, although the fight choreography is not very good. But it is kind of a more battle of ideals, you could say, in a sense. But yeah. He's telling her how he wanted to be a history teacher, and how humans are awful, and create things to destroy themselves, and how he found that there was no mention of demons helping them ever at all, and yeah. And that once all the demons are gone, he will rule with Rion over humans, basically. I guess that's his end goal now. He is completely out of his mind. Completely. But, it is what it is. So, yeah. But she's trying to get through to Osamu-kun and say, not all demons are bad, not all humans are bad. There are some, and people make mistakes, but they're not all bad. He just won't listen. Towa's trying her best to fend him off, but eventually, he does use his Enzai Ken and take all of her demonic energy, turning her human, and yeah. He keeps trying to kill her. So yeah. And Moroha and Setsuna aren't making much headway either. And then we see, of course, Sesshomaru clashing with Kinemaru. And yeah. Kinemaru is livid, obviously. Sesshomaru is his usual calm self. But he is just, oh boy. He has completely lost his composure. And yeah, he even goes for Rin at one point, which is very surprising. So, yeah. And of course, he does it by saying, you should never bring women or children onto the battlefield. Did your father's words mean nothing? Did he teach you nothing? Mocking him as he almost gets to him, but of course, Sesshomaru easily takes care of that. And scolds Osamu-kun, I keep doing that. Scolds Kinemaru for even daring to do that. And says how underhanded of a tactic it is, because it is. So, yeah. And Rin is just, she is watching kind of in awe, I guess. Not saying a word. But she's clearly very proud of her husband, I suppose. And supportive. So, that's a good thing. But yeah. Sesshomaru continues saying, why do you desire to be the strongest anyway? So, yeah. And Kinemaru kinda just says that he thought that's what Rion wanted, that's what he wanted. So yeah. Doesn't really have a solid answer, to be honest. But that's just what he assumes. Who knows? But, yeah. Obviously, that's not what Rion really wanted. It's kind of more what he wanted. And that's, again, evident in what we hear Rion think when Setsuna keeps cutting the threads of fate. She doesn't think her father really cared. And never understood what she really wanted. So, yeah. It's like everyone's trying to decide what Rion wanted, or thinks they know. That's a better way to put it. Thinks they know what Rion wanted, but obviously only she really knows. And I think it's obvious what she really wanted was just her dad. She didn't need him to be the strongest, he just wanted her father. So yeah, it's tragic in a way. But yeah, we don't see anything else of Sesshomaru and Kinemaru after that, really. They're just still clashing, and Kinemaru is refusing to listen or see reason. So yeah, and he's losing composure to the point where he would use underhanded tactics that he once completely scolded. So yeah. There's that. I kind of feel bad for him in a sense now, because Osamu-kun is clearly using his guilt over Rion's death against him, but he's still the bad guy here. Don't get me wrong, he's still the bad guy here. It's just Osamu-kun is kind of worse at the moment. He poses more of a threat at the moment. But yeah, who knows? Maybe Kinemaru will change his ways by the end, but I doubt it. Who the heck knows? There's not that much of this series left to go, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's ending with season 2. Really looking like it. So, yeah. It is what it is, though. Again, we see Towa still trying to fight Osamu-kun, but she can't really do much now that she's human. And the episode ends with her nearly being stabbed by him. So, that's quite the cliffhanger, although we know she's gonna be fine. She'll be fine. So, yeah. Overall, I guess, like I said, it was a good episode, somewhat. It just was jumbled around. It was all over the place in a sense. What I did love is seeing Inuyasha and Kagome together. That's always a pleasure, especially when they're with Moroha. Because that family dynamic, I absolutely adore it, and I wish we could get more of it. But of course they couldn't let Inuyasha and Kagome go with Moroha and the twins, because they're powerful. They wouldn't need any help with Osamu Kiden, that's for sure. And they do wanna keep the girls at the forefront. I understand that. They are the main characters. We had a whole series with the others that we can love forever. And it's time to let the girls take the lead. So, that's okay. I understand that. I would love the Inuyasha Kagome Moroha family dynamic because it's so sweet. Even after so long apart, they are just, you can tell they're super, super close and love each other already. So, more of that, please. Although it's probably... But, yeah. Aside from being a bit of a jumbled mess, it was still an okay episode. And with that, I guess, that will do it for this review. The series is really looking like it's coming to a close soon. What was season 1? 26 episodes? And we're at episode 22. So yeah, we really don't have that many episodes left if that is the case. It's gonna be sad when it ends, but even though these past couple episodes have really been a bit of a mess, plot-wise, I really hope it ends strong. I really, really do. And it is good at least that even if our former main characters, the main cast from Inuyasha, are not helping the girls right now, they're not with them inside the Grid Butterfly, it is so good that they are helping from the outside. They are still a part of this, so that is good. At the very least. So, yeah, I'm gonna hope the series will end strong and maybe make sense of where this plot seems to be going. We will see, though. We will see. And it seems like the next episode is going to be devoted to Kinemaru and Rion, because it is titled Father and Daughter. So... interesting. It's most likely going to be about them. So, who knows? Maybe Rion will snap out of this. Maybe Kinemaru will decide to help us. If Osamu Kiden's not stopped by the girls beforehand. I don't think he will be, though. The girls are strong in their own right, but obviously Osamu Kiden might be on a whole nother level, considering he's from Kinemaru, so... we'll see. We'll see how this all ends. We will see. And hopefully there's a way that Riku can survive as well, because even if I'm not super big on the character, I mean, he's alright. I know Towa clearly cares about him, and it would be sad for her to lose him, I suppose. So yeah, hopefully I can find a way to help him and just resolve this whole situation before it's too late. And hopefully the Grim Butterfly will be trapped in that barrier long enough where everyone will be okay. Surely in the end, everything will be, but let's hope there's not too many casualties in the process. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. I really do. If you did, leave a like, share it around if you want. I do sometimes talk about Yashahime on my Twitter and stuff. And you can find the links to my Twitter and Patreon in the video description below. As per usual, if you want to follow me there or support the channel on Patreon, I'd be forever grateful if you did. But, yeah, I guess. Until episode 23 of Season 2, I will see you guys next time.